at least.
Well, oh my God,
you're
the
in.
ignorance.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the ignorance.
I grant that you're ignorant, but that's okay. I don't think you just like, if you would actually like to learn about real history and not fake history, then you can do that, right?
Really.
I mean, Missy, to be fair, like you're pushing a narrative that's like not based in like actual like good evidence.
I'm gonna say that there is significantly more evidence than there's significantly more evidence that Yahweh came from Ken. Like, what are you gonna? You saying it doesn't?
It doesn't. No. Like,
where does it come from?
Yeah, obviously it's gonna come from the Hebrew Israelite tradition, right?
The Canaans developed the pantheon.
J-Rob, how old's the Earth?
Obviously.
1 second. How old's the Earth?
It's not from the Canaanite God. That's
how old is the Earth?
What does the age of Earth have to do with it?
What is wrong with you?
I need to know some of your precepts. Are you a young Earth creationist?
No, I'm not.
Bro,
you're an old Earth creationist. Do you think that there was a religion that came before?
What does that have to do?
Can I drop him, Gogo?
Have done that. You're wrong.
J-Rob?
Just
no, Menkins.
Yeah.
If you want to learn how to mute up Menkins, you can. If not.
Right.
Okay. What's up, J-Rob?
J-Rob.
What's up?
What's up, bro? You still a Christian?
Bro, come on. You know better.
Nah, bro. I thought these atheist agnostics would knock some sense into you, bro.
That's crazy work. Wait there. J-Rob's cool. I respect J-Rob.
No,
Manny, you might actually have a room temperature IQ. Please respect my friend J-Rob.
No, I respect him. If anything, I think he's smarter than that. Where do you guys live where it's raining?
None of your business.
I was about to say, but like,
not literal. Like, you could just tell me the state. I don't need to know.
We're literally like 5 hours apart.
Yeah.
We live in Texas.
Hell yeah. She lives in the beautiful city. Well, wait, actually, no.
Shut up!
Sorry. No.
You live in a different city.
I don't need to know all that.
Oh, okay. Wait, sorry.
Yeah, Missy and Coco live in 2 cities in a state in the United States.
Wait, actually, wait, hold on. Wait, I swear that wasn't on purpose. I caught myself.
Okay.
I was like, oh my God.
I know. It's such a massive state, such a massive city.
Oh yeah, Missy, did you know I got a haircut?
Ooh.
Menkins,
I'm dropping you.
Oh, what the heck, man? I went and got this picture for no reason. Oh, nice. Seer's there. Hold on. I got another one.
Yo, Coco, can you just like, me and Manny are gonna debate because apparently like he can beat anybody on the tier list.
Okay, yeah, I saw that.
So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put him on the leash and walk him like Franklin walks Chop in GTA.
Bro, this gotta be the type of pride the Bible warns about. Like, that's crazy.
Of course. So Manny, all right. So let's take are you gonna take the negation that God exists? Correct?
No, bro, I'm not a firm atheist.
Don't let him trap you. Don't ever.
I'm not. Okay, well, first she's already she's already assuming that I'm a hard atheist. Like, you don't even know my stance.
What? Wait, I'm already pre-stopping at your hard atheist.
No,
What's the difference?
I'm pretty sure he's a guy too.
Yeah, wait, I'm a guy, but what's the difference?
Did you misgender?
Yeah, he just misgendered me, but it's okay.
It's probably not.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know.
Manny, real quick, what's the distinction between a regular atheist and a hard atheist?
I think the hard atheists are firm claiming that there is no God. And then there's like atheist agnostics that are open-minded, that's just not fully convinced. They have non-resistant non-belief. They're just not fully convinced.
Which I'm not even sure if those are actual terms in the literature.
That's not even the actual terms in any literature, so this guy's already lost.
Someone who has non-resistant non-belief?
Hold on,
look that up.
Give me a second, I'm speaking.
Bro, you don't validate truth, bro. You're so fucking prideful. Like, just listen, bro.
I'll wait till I'll speak. I'll just wait.
But I mean, okay, hold on. When it comes to the literature, like, I think it's just like there's a psychological and like a philosophical definition of atheism, but I'm not sure if there's like hard and soft atheists.
So many. So
just so you know, I'm sorry to interrupt you, big bro. Just so you know, definitionally, there quite literally can't be a hard atheist because atheism is just the negation of the existence of a God.
Yeah. So can we? Prince gets a star because Prince is just a goat. Manny, and so we're gonna just like rerun this. I'm gonna like wipe my memory completely clean, and I'm gonna forget everything that you just said. Okay? Are you an atheist or agnostic?
I'm a mix of both.
So you're an atheistic agnostic?
That's what I said. Yeah.
Okay, cool. When and which proposition are you gonna affirm atheism?
Sure, yeah.
So, are you here to debate about like the
Yes,
Bible,
I'm
or you
debating.
just want to hop on my dick about
About
God existing or not? Because I'm not opposing the existence of God, bro. Like I already told you this.
Real quick.
Like I don't
You would
understand
know if
like
my
why
friend.
you're trying to debate
You would
something.
know if a case tonight hopped on your dick because you would already be enjoying it. So don't misrepresent what we're doing right now, okay? Yeah, look at that. You don't even know it.
Do you agree?
No, you guys are just so dumb and immature, bro.
Oh, okay,
Like,
wait,
grow
really
up.
quick. Okay, wait, really quick. Soft teaching moment. Look, I get that you view Christians as like believing in false things, and like yeah, some of it is a bit silly, but like there's actually like academic, like really smart, like philosophy Christians.
100%, and I agree, dude. I have very, very high intellect friends that are Christian.
Yeah, so when
There's
it comes
people, I
to
have friends that
There
go
are
to
some
like Christian
Christians in this
college and
world that will
university.
defeat any atheist on this app in a debate. Let's be
Deadass.
honest.
Say that one more time.
Guys, hold on real quick. I just
Wait,
need
wait,
like,
JC, say that once more.
There are some Christians in this world that can defeat any atheist person on this app in a debate about God.
I think William Lane Craig, if he came
Ryan
on TikTok,
Mullins.
he would walk everybody.
Ryan
would walk
Mullins.
any
Actually,
atheist
no.
on this app.
Actually, Ryan Mullins. Maybe not William Lane
Swin,
Craig.
Ryan
Bro,
Mullins,
William Lane
Swinburne.
Craig just get
I think
walked
David
by,
Bentley
like,
Hart.
William is,
atheists
and,
on-
and I got a flag for this yesterday, so I'm gonna be really careful.
Yeah.
I'll just say it really simply and shortly. William Lane Craig isn't that smart.
yeah,
Well,
I think David Bentley Hart.
Maybe
I'm just saying, I think that like people like Swinburne or Sijuwati or what's his
Edward
name,
Fraser would low key.
Ed Fazer,
Ryan
Yeah.
Mullins.
Ryan Mullins.
Is Ryan
But real
Mullins an
quick,
open
guys.
theist?
Yeah, he's the pioneer of open theism.
Oh, okay. So he would probably walk a lot of people on TikTok, like for sure.
So Manny, real quick, because this is very emotional and distraughting to me. I think like when you say you can dog walk any theist, and then somebody.
I never said theist. Show
yeah,
me
hold
where I
on, my
said
bad.
theist, or my claim was
Let me
theist.
reiterate myself. I apologize. I misrepresented you. I'm so sorry. You said you could dog walk most of the people on the tier list, okay? And I have.
Where did I say dog walk? Where did I say dog walk?
Yeah, sure. My bad. Let me reiterate myself once again. You said you could beat
Anyone want to swap for Cease?
most people.
And I didn't even say that either. I didn't even say that.
Alright, hold on. Give me 1 second. We're just gonna
go pull up the screenshot.
I'm gonna go quote it. I'm just gonna go quote it.
Quoted. What do you mean quoted? How are you gonna quote it? What are you talking about?
We got a spot. Who dropped?
You're just too much in your pride, thinking that everyone is as egotistical and narcissist as you. I literally said you put people
Wait, Missy,
who
not
believe
you.
in talking snakes and donkeys too high.
Wait,
on
hold
the
on.
list.
Wait,
And then-
hold on. Wait. Someone swapped with Missy.
Yeah, I actually wanted to say something.
No.
I want Missy.
I didn't want her to drop.
I want to
Wait,
say.
come back.
Yeah, I think Cease wanted to say something to Missy actually. Too.
Yeah, I didn't.
Okay, wait, real quick, Manny. When you're an agnostic atheist, are you taking the affirmative that it's possible that God doesn't exist?
Here we go.
Yeah, but again, that's not gonna be my original premise, because it's not. Because that's not where my stance is.
Did you affirm original proposition or no?
Well, I'm telling you no. I'm telling you no, because then that conflicts with an agnostic.
That
I just told you.
Agnostic? Wait, making a proposition on whether you do not or whether you think or you don't think or whether you do not know is not like a proposition.
Bro, I'm gonna just say this: just be yourself, bro. You're trying to be.
I am being myself.
You're not.
He's a case
Yes, I
tonight.
am. I'm a Casein. This is like
I'm
literally
a student. We're all student of Casein.
Oh God.
Yeah. So
Can I say something real quick?
Go just word on God.
guys, I don't want to pivot, so I just want a one-on-one with Manny if you don't mind, guys.
Wait, actually, let's see Steno get his thing out, and then we'll get back to it.
Yeah, because I
In
don't
other
know.
words, shut your bitch ass up.
I gotta leave it in a minute anyway. I want to say two.
way.
Yeah, what's up? What's up, Case?
I want to say two things. One, Missy, I completely agree with you. I have never understood the obsession or the respect that William Lane Craig gets.
I know, it's so bad. I've never seen him win any debate ever.
I find him to be wildly unimpressive.
He only goes on college campuses for a reason. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think he's really actually quite atrocious.
Yeah, I think that he is a disservice to an apologist.
I agree. He's a good speaker, but that's as far as it goes. Like,
sure, I think that's fair. He has good language, but it's all just cult language.
Anyone should watch the debate he had with Sean Carroll about physics. It's one of the funnest things I've ever seen.
Such a good one.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Y'all having like a hyper-dual harmonization conversation and like coping to each other about how there's like Christian is super bad at debating.
Yeah. So
sure,
he misrepresents and showman's like pretty basic views of philosophy, and he misrepresents science. The debates with Sean Carroll, where he's making these claims about physics, about time and space, and about causality, are so confused. And he, at one point, was claiming that this one scientist agrees with him, and Sean Carroll plays a video of the same scientist literally denouncing the shit that William Lane Craig was claiming.
Well, that's not true. You just
wonderful.
misunderstood what happened there.
No, I didn't.
You are, because he's talking about Guth for the BGV theorem. There's Ford, Guth, and Vilenkin. Guth doesn't agree with Craig, but Vilenkin does agree with Craig. And so Sean Carroll was showing one of the scientists who are a proponent of the theorem that were disagreeing with Craig on his conclusion that it's probably fine.
No, he was showing somebody that Craig specifically said agreed with him.
No, Craig uses Vilenkin.
I'm glad you mentioned his name.
Wait, Herb,
He doesn't use Guth, he uses Vilenkin. He does not use Guth.
Okay, anybody go watch a video and you'll see what I'm talking about. But regardless, I'll make a stronger claim. I don't know, who that question earlier was aimed at, but I will stand by it. I think that I can at least hold my own, if not dog walk, most theists that are well versed in this topic. I don't think there's a single argument that I've ever heard from a theist that I think is even remotely convincing.
Yeah,
Wait,
I might have to run a 3v1 in one night now, because I'm not
So
I wouldn't go that far.
Bro, I'm going to heaven because I act more of a Christian than you. Holy.
Manny, you're going to heaven because Christian University.
And by the way, I'm not saying that there aren't like good intellectuals in that context, but I don't think that their views, hold much water. I actually interviewed Ryan Mullins. I like the guy. Like, I think he's an incredibly smart individual.
I can see what you mean. I think that, like, personally, I have a love for a couple of different argumentations that, like, a theist could make. So for those, but if we're talking about like a Christian God in particular, I'll give you that.
No, I would extend it to theism as well. I think all these views.
Really?
Yeah, I would say all these views fall flat. Ultimately, I think most versions of theism are not just
even some sort of deistic, like apathetic deistic position.
Yo, wait, Case, give me your critique on neoclassical theism right now. Go ahead.
I think that most of these views are not just unlikely, but actually incoherent.
Okay.
So
your probability rate to be true over my probability rate. Go ahead.
Who says we're using
probability
rates here?
Yeah, why is neoclassical theism wrong?
I'm sorry. Say it again. I'm hearing a lot of background. Say it again.
Why is neoclassical theism wrong?
Yeah, because the idea of a mind existing, not emergent from an external world, is incoherent.
Give me your critique.
Yeah, that is my critique. That when you're talking about self,
that's a statement. That is a statement. That is.
Hold on, I'm explaining. Any idea of a mind or a self with intentional states and desires and perspectives requires an external world for it to make any sense to begin with. Like we take mind and selves to be the kinds of things
That was a good try, Coco.
Sorry,
That was me.
that's a
I could've won
precept.
that.
You're
That was
just
such a
presupposing
presupposition, yeah.
empiricism there. One second. You're presupposing empiricism there.
This is getting
No, not
clipped.
empiricism.
Wallahi, yo, Coco.
No,
wallahi,
but you're not allowing for rationalism there. You're saying, okay, well, it must be emergent when that's the question between rationalism and empiricism.
Yo, Coco,
But
send me this
even
clip,
in a
bro.
context,
I can do that.
well, hold on, there's a lot of.
This guy said I could be any theist, and it gives an argument that presups non-rationalism. Get this guy out
I'm
of
not
here.
presupposing.
No, he might
That's
not
not
be
my-
presupposing. I could be wrong here, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
I'm not-
pointing out a potential flaw in my friend's argument.
Yeah, I'm not talking about empiricism because I'm not necessarily even making like a physicalist argument. I'm talking about. Hold on. I'm talking about what we mean when we talk about mind, right? Like, do you agree? Whoever theist is in here, do you agree that there's a distinction between the perceiver, the perceived, and the perception?
Yeah, there's a distinction between the mind and the brain.
I'm not talking about brain. I'm not talking about any particular on even like ontology here. I'm talking about just those ideas. Like it could be physical, they could be dualistic, whatever. That's not the point. I'm saying, is there a distinction?
Sure, there could be.
Right. So in what sense can God exist as a mind alone prior to creation and be the only thing that exists if that God is a mind? Because one would have to assume, right, that the mind is something that can perceive.
What is your definition of mind?
My definition of mind is it's a phenomena of the self coming into contact with the world, right?
That's
And so
yourself as an ontological self? Or
yeah,
yourself
it
as
doesn't
a
have to be.
self?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like a brain necessarily. I mean, I'm a.
Oh, he
I'm
just
a non-reactive
conceded.
physically, so I think that.
He just conceded.
You just conceded.
No, I didn't.
Yes,
Wait,
you
how-
did. Because you said, your proposition was, only for a mind to exist externally, it would have to be conceived or represented by another ontological or conscious being. That is totally fine, but I just run an argument of essence energy distinction. Or even, no, I won't even argue that. I'll argue Thomas Aquinas because I understand him more. And I'll just say, like, we know the energies because the known is posterior to which is knowing. And I'm just going to give that as my proposition. So the mind is extrinsic to the brain, and its extrinsic cause we understand to be God. Therefore, we know this. What's the problem? What's the
Well,
contradiction?
hold on. I didn't say anything. First of all, I didn't say anything about physical brains. My view does
I know
not.
you didn't say anything about the physical brains. And
Second,
but I'm trying to understand. You said mind. I asked you what's your definition of mind. You said yourself recognizing, and I forget the last part of it. So I'm sure you can remind me. But whether it's yourself, and when you're referring to yourself, you're referring to your conscious self, or you're referring to your ontological self.
Let me ask. Well, are you asking what I mean by mind in that sense?
Yes, I'm asking you. No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking you. What do you mean by self? I understand what you mean by mind, but what do you mean by self? It's your recognition of self. What is the self?
The distinction from my ontology in contrast with everything else that I'm not.
What? Okay, so when you mean self, you're referring to your ontological state?
Yes, and when we're talking about mind, we're talking about my capacity to experience, to have consciousness, to perceive.
Sure. So a mind would just be a state of will, which in resides.
Yo, I gotta go. We could talk some other time.
Yeah, that's fine,
We can
Manny.
talk about the
Manny.
Bible's credibility, the authority.
Sure. Do you wanna reference Genesis, and we can go to we can do any Old Testament. I'll just slap you with Jewish scholars and say that you're stupid and you don't understand what an idiom is.
What is with all these theists and their unending arrogance? Ego.
Okay, can we just get back to Cease and Seer? Manny, no offense.
Oh God.
I respect you, brother, but you just interrupted their conversation, so I know you have to go, but let's go back to it.
Yeah, we don't care about you enough for you to use your voice. Just leave type shit.
Damn,
so we
I
understand.
didn't say that.
Hold on.
Wait, are you talking to me?
Hold on.
Y'all be so
No,
careful
bro.
with how you talk to my friends. Y'all be
If
so
I
careful with how
just
you talk to
would've
my
left-
friends.
Yo, I'm about to call upon Allah, and I'm not even Muslim. Okay?
Yo.
Case, listen.
Yes.
We have a distinction between what a mind and a brain is, correct?
And what is that distinction?
I'm asking you, is there a distinction?
Yeah, I think the brain produces the mind. Yeah.
You believe the brain produces the mind. So is the mind intrinsic or extrinsic to which lies within?
Well, I don't know what that means.
You don't know what intrinsic or extrinsic means?
No, I'm saying I don't know what you're asking me in this context.
I'm
saying
you,
that the brain.
I'll reiterate myself. Is the mind intrinsic to the brain?
I think the brain produces the mind. That's my view.
That's fine.
By the way, just to be clear,
you don't think something can produce but be extrinsic?
Yeah, no, that's fine. But I'm saying that is actually not relevant to what I'm saying because I'm not even holding to a physicalist perspective. So the brain here is not even relevant to the conversation.
No, that's totally fine. And I understand you're not holding to a physicalist perspective. But that's also not what I'm asking. You say you can keep up with the top 10 scholars, you all right? Sure. I'm sorry, but even William Lane Craig right now would beat you because you don't know what you're talking about.
That's fine. You're asking me questions that are relevant to my views. So that's why I'm confused.
Hold on. I'm asking a question about the mind because you had a proposition that had mind within it. I need to understand your definition in order for me to critique your system. So if we have an intrinsic source, the mind, being intrinsic to the brain, and the brain has the perception of such consciousness, is it going to be the case that we know the energies of God, and that's relative to the intelligence of them?
No, what I'm saying is that in both cases, both ontologies require an external world for the words. Yes, where we're talking about the thing producing the mind.
What is the second ontology? What is the second ontology?
Hold on, I'm trying to explain. So you're making a distinction here, right? You're saying that you could propose a world. First of all, let me actually make one point. The scholars you're talking about wouldn't be asking me questions that are not relevant to my view. So that's the first issue. The second issue is that whether or not you're talking about the phenomena of mind or the thing from which the mind is emerging from, right? What I'm saying is that when we use words like self and mind, right, these exist in a context of categorization, right, where they're starting to be a self, right? It's a self in contrast to something that it's not. Mm-hmm. Right? The process of negation and affirmation there. Like I recognize that I'm myself in the sense that I recognize I'm not you, I'm not that car, I'm not that tree. Right? There are these sort of existential boundaries between the self and everything else.
Okay.
And so if you're telling me that God exists as a self, right? But then you're saying God is all there is.
Which self are you referring to?
What?
Because you made it known that when you refer to self, within referring to the mind, it's ontological.
I'm saying in either case, if you want to say that the mind is not what you mean by self, but you're saying the mind is just a secondary phenomenon, that's fine. I
just want to make something known for you, okay? St. Paul Apologetics is in here. He's going to clip you. You better be careful. You said earlier that there is two ontologies. What is the second ontology?
No, wait. I haven't made any.
Yes, you literally did. You literally said earlier that there's two ontologies.
No,
what is the second ontological process?
No, I'm providing both worldviews, right? I'm saying that whether or not you're a person who holds to the view that the mind is distinct from the self, or you hold to the view that they're synonymous, I'm saying the concern remains in both cases. I'm not holding to a particular view one way or another, as far as that's concerned. Right? I'm saying that regardless.
Two ontological viewpoints, you're referring to the two propositions.
Right. I'm saying that. Okay. Right. I'm saying that in the context of both propositions.
Well, then there would only be one ontological viewpoint then. So that's a blunder.
Wait, how is that a blunder? I'm describing
two. Blunder because idealism. Hold on. It'd be a blunder because idealism doesn't affirm that the mind is an ontological process. And you're saying, hold on, right? But real quick. Okay, and you literally just said that there's two ontological processes affirming the proposition.
No. Idealism,
not affirming the proposition, stating two propositions.
No, idealism would simply look at everything as the mind, right? And by that's precisely what I'm
ontological.
No, what I'm saying is that is precisely what becomes incoherent about how they're not using the word mind in any way that's actually informative or expressing anything that's coherent.
Okay.
Right? The idea here is that if by mind you don't mean the phenomena of the perceiver perceiving a perception, then I don't know what you mean by mind anymore. And if you think that the self is distinct from the mind, which is another proposition.
When I'm referring to mind, I'm referring to a state of consciousness or intelligibility.
Okay, that's fine. And so
does a mind require another mind to still be intelligent?
Does require? No, it doesn't require another mind, but it does require an external world.
Okay, so a mind requires an external world in order for it to be intelligent.
Yes, and let me ask a clarifying question. Are you saying that there is a difference between the self and the mind, or are you using those synonymously?
When you use self, you're referring to the ontological self, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm saying that there's a distinction.
You're saying, okay, there is a distinction. And so in your worldview, because I'm trying to understand your perspective on both propositions, how does it make sense to call something a self if that self isn't in contrast to anything else? Like, how do we even draw the boundary that would make something a self if you're saying that all there is the one self?
What? Can you reiterate that?
Yes. So when you say self, are you recognizing that the self exists contextually? Like saying that self is in...
When I'm referring to self, I'm referring to the ontological process of the brain, right?
But you agree that it has to be in contrast to everything that self is not, for even the category to make sense.
So in order for a brain to exist, that has to be the contrast of everything what a brain isn't. I don't think I'm tracking. I don't understand what.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that when we're categorizing minds or selves, or selves, depending how we're hashing it out, that any of that only makes sense in a context where there is a process of contrast going on. Right? We're saying that I am myself in the sense that I'm also not you. I'm not the car. I'm not the tree outside. Right? There's this process of relational.
Sure, there's a distinction between relational properties.
Right. And so what I'm saying is that what sense does it make to say that God existed as a mind and a self?
As a mind alone? Do you think we affirm that God has an ontological process of a brain?
No, not of a brain, but I do think that most theists...
I'm very confused because you keep using self in two different ways, and I don't know how to track when you say self. Because in one instance, you're referring to self to be ontological. In one instance, I don't even know what you mean self is. Okay, so I'm gonna clarify. When you're using self, what are you using it as?
I'm using it as how do I phrase this? A unique point in relation to all points that are not identical to it. Like so,
a unique point in relation to all things that are not identical to it.
Yes,
what is that even? What is that in relation to?
Well, I'm trying to compare the identity of one thing in relation to another.
Can you give me a proposition metaphysically or even empirically that follows this definition?
Yeah, I'm just saying that I'm just describing an identity in contrast to any other identity.
Okay, right? So your definition of self is an identity. So now you're using self to not mean an ontological process of the brain, correct? Or do you think that in order to have an identity, you must have a brain?
Well, I mean, ultimately, if you press me, yes, I'm a physicalist. So I think that.
Okay, so you're a physicalist.
But hold on. But let me just.
No.
We have to clarify because.
Don't run. Hold on. Now
I'm not running. I want to clarify.
I understand that, but earlier you just said you weren't arguing out of physicalism.
Well, that's why I'm clarifying.
Now you're trying to argue with physicalism. So which one are you arguing?
No, hold on. That's what I'm.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I'm clarifying. When I'm talking about the self in the context of a being, right? Like. Yeah, I'm not talking. It doesn't have to be a brain. I'm saying yes. Ultimately, I'm a physicalist, but I don't have to adopt that view for what I'm saying to still hold true, right? Like I could simply be describing some other phenomenon. Like I could say that it doesn't have to be physical in that sense. But what I'm saying is that
God holds an identity. Okay.
Right. I'm trying to explain to you that identity here, in the context of a being, can be used in a different way than identity when we're talking about like an object, right? Like clearly two objects are distinct and we can refer to them as identity, but in a different sense, right? I'm just trying to clarify that I'm not necessarily speaking of identity in terms of like a personhood, right? But in a context where a religious person is claiming that this God is, has a self, is a mind, has a mind, is a being, is not just like a thing in the world, right? But is actually like an actual being. Then that complicates the problem. Right? Do you follow what I'm saying or not?
Can you formalize it?
Well, I'm a continental.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm not. I can't. I'm not.
You don't have to give me an analytic formalized syllogism. Just put it in like a way that Hegel would write his literature. I mean, even Kant wrote his literature in a syllogism when he's critiquing.
Here,
it's okay. I'm sure
here,
you can.
Sure, no. Let me send you a follow. Why don't we continue this here?
That's fine. So, can you reiterate your critique? I just want your whole critique without getting into definitions. God has an identity and God has a mind. What's the problem?
Right. The problem is that we're talking about like the idea of a being or the idea of a mind, however you cash out its ontology. We are talking about the distinction between the perceiver, the perception, and the perceived. Right? Okay. And so it's incoherent to say that all that existed prior to creation was God alone. Because now you're reducing what is entailed by mind or is entailed by self in the context of a being here by breaking down the walls between the perceiver, the perception, and the perceived, right? I was not suggesting that for something to be, having an identity in contrast to something else, it had to be like a living thing. Clearly not, right? But what I hear from theists all the time is that, maybe you define it differently, but most theists I've talked to think of God as a mind in itself, outside of space and time, which by the way is also incoherent as far as I'm concerned, that existed alone prior to creation. And I don't think that any of that means anything.
So, a mind existing alone outside of creation is basically what's like not making sense to you.
Yeah, the theists want to use this idea of self in terms of personhood, like not human being, but like personhood.
Do you think, like, what's the criteria of what makes a person a person?
Sorry, you cut out. Say it again.
Yeah, what is the criterion of what makes a person a person?
Yeah, I think their capacity to have experience.
So, in order for a person to be a person, it must have experience, correct? It must have a sense of qualia?
Yeah, at least potentially, right? Like, obviously...
Can you have qualia without intelligibility?
Can you have qualia without intelligibility? I think so.
Can I go?
I would say so.
So somebody can have... Hold on, bro. Give me 1 second. So qualia... So you can have a sense of qualia without an intellectual process?
Well, I took by intelligibility, you meaning that we could somehow make sense of the experience. I think you can have an experience you weren't making sense of. Sure.
Yo, why are you interrupting the
Bro,
1v1?
shut up.
No. Hold on. Give me 1 second, Prince. That's fine. Let bro talk. Go ahead, bro. He wants to talk so bad. Let's let him speak. Christ would have let the Gentiles speak.
Yes,
if he came to
exactly. God would have let a nigga like me speak because he knows I'm doing this shit.
Drop this idiot.
Yeah,
well, what does intelligibility have to do with anything?
Yeah, well, I think like intelligibility or qualia. In order to have qualia, you have to have intelligibility. And so
I don't agree with that.
Okay, sure. Can a brain dead person have a sense of qualia?
No, but a person can have an experience. But I took by intelligibility, you meant the capacity to understand or rationalize or logic your way through to make sense of.
No, it's okay. That's a concession. That's okay.
Wait, how is that a concession?
Yeah. So do you think? Yeah, that's fine. So, and intelligence comes from the mind and the brain, right?
Wait. I'm sorry. How is that a concession?
I'm explaining it to you right now. Does intelligence come from the mind and the brain? Yes or no?
Sure.
Okay. So if you don't have a sense of brain, is it preceding a sense of consciousness?
If you don't have whatever it is that's required for the phenomenon of mind to exist, you're not going to have qualia. But intelligibility and qualia are two different things.
Okay, cool. That's fine. I understand that. So we understand that in order to have intelligence, you have to have a brain. Okay.
Yes.
And in order to have qualia, do you have to have intelligence?
No.
Okay. What's the motivation?
Yeah, that you could have an experience that you're not processing or understanding or rationalizing.
So you can have an experience without a brain to understand the experience?
No, you need a brain. Well, as a physicalist, you would say you need a brain for both. But remember, I wasn't talking about brains from the get-go.
I understand that. But now we are. Now we're too deep into it.
But this is irrelevant.
So that's fine. So in order to have intelligence, in order to have intelligence, you have to have a brain and a mind. In order to have qualia, you have to have a brain and a mind. What is the motivation? You just said in order to have qualia, you have to have a brain and a mind.
No, what I'm saying is that, let me rephrase it so you're actually summarizing correctly. I'm saying that whatever leads to qualia, whatever leads to intelligibility, right, is obviously comes prior to both of those things, but the two are not synonymous, right? So intelligibility and qualia, while they both require the same thing to be actualized, are not themselves the same thing. They're two different processes.
I agree with you. And that's not what I'm connecting. So obviously you're not tracking. I'm saying that you have to have intelligibility for qualia.
Yeah, I don't see why should I believe that?
Okay, why you don't? Okay, so in order to have an experience, right, a quality experience, do you have to rationalize your experience?
No. Why would you?
Because
why would you need to be able to rationalize the experience to just be having an experience?
Yeah, we need a clip. Clip that real quick.
Well, go ahead, clip it.
Give me one
you think is a baby rationalizing an experience?
They have a mind?
Yeah, of course.
Yo, are you concussed? Like, actually, are you lost?
Chill. Cease is actually like.
Are you asking me?
Yes, I'm asking you. You've been giving this argument this entire time. For 10 minutes, he just had you explain what a mind and a brain was.
Right. My view is not dependent on the brain having to be the explanation for qualia. Like, yeah, ultimately, I believe that the mind is the result of the brain, but it's irrelevant to my view. What I'm saying is that there is a distinction between our capacity to rationalize an experience and having the experience. They're not the same thing. A baby can have the experience and not have any logic or rationalization to categorize anything. Right. In fact, the categorization is something that emerges.
You got a ready and unready.
We need your definition of rationalization.
The same that was given earlier. We're talking about intelligibility, the capacity.
Okay. So then you would
distinguish. Logic.
So rationalization and a mind are correlated.
Yeah, I'm saying that you need a mind to rationalize the same way you need a mind to have an experience. But rationalizing and experience are not the same thing.
But let's your
rationalize and experience are not the same thing?
No, why would it be?
I agree with you.
Okay.
I agree with you. So in order to have experience, you have to rationalize?
In order to have experience? No, you don't.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to rationalize your experience?
No, you can rationalize your experience, but you don't need to.
That's what I asked you. I never asked you, can you? I asked you, do you need to? Is it a need?
Do you need? No. What?
Okay, that's fine. It's not a need. Can a brain dead person experience any set of qualia?
No.
Why?
They would lack the capacity to have an experience.
Why?
Well, in that context, if you're asking from the physicalist perspective, because their brain would be brain dead, right? They wouldn't have.
Why? Okay. Why can't they do it because they're brain dead? What's stopping them?
Well, you're asking the question from a physicalist perspective, right? You're saying that
what's stopping them from a physicalist perspective? What's stopping them?
Yeah, their brain is dead.
Oh, okay. So they can't experience?
Correct.
What is the brain? What is the main cause for the brain?
What is the main?
What is the main purpose for the brain?
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means.
What the main purpose for the brain is? So does the brain's purpose is to rationalize, have a sense of consciousness?
I think those are among multiple functions of the brain.
Functions, right? Multiple functions. That's fine. And so would you say this is kind of what's causing this brain dead person not to experience? It's because this function is lacking.
Right, but not the rationalization function, just the experience of the function of having the quality to begin with. Mm-hmm. Like those I'm saying those are two distinct processes.
So what is the brain for?
I don't know what that means. What is the brain for? The brain is simply an organ.
Okay, when I ask you what is the brain for, what is the purpose of the brain?
Again,
tell me 5 purposes of the brain.
Are you asking for like functions? Are you asking for functions of the brain?
Yeah, sure.
So one would be qualia, right? Another would be intelligibility. Another would be memory. I'm trying to think what else here. Emotion, cognition, like processing senses, managing, functions of the body, like what is it called? I think like managing, because I think the brain also impacts the rest of the body in some capacity. So like managing the rest of one's physicality, right? It's doing multiple.
Homeostasis, I think that's the word you were looking for.
Right. Yeah. Matt is saying in the comment too, hormone regulation, all that stuff. Like, it's doing different things at once. And yes, of course, you need, whether you want to go the physicalist route or some other route, whatever is leading to these phenomena, yes, you would need for all of it. But each particular phenomena is not the same thing as the next. Like, it's still distinct. Look, I do need to head out here, but do you want to continue this conversation on my live? I'm gonna go live tomorrow.
I just want to ask you one more question before you hang out. Just one. Okay. So we have the brain, okay, and one of the purposes of the brain, or the two purposes of the brain, is qualia, the state of experience. So when you say qualia, or when I say qualia, what do you think I'm referring to?
I'm assuming the same thing, just the experience. There is a.
So like qualia would be like the feeling of pain, correct?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so sure. So we have the feeling of pain, which is the qualia. Okay. So can a person without intelligibility understand that he's feeling pain?
Understand? Like, depends on how you're capturing that out.
Can he process the feeling of pain?
Yes. Now, if you're asking by intelligibility, I mean, can they reason or reflect upon that experience? No.
Okay. Right? So then they don't have qualia then. So if they can't reason or reflect, or have like a reflection of what the proposition is, being the redness of red, right? This is a reason. Okay, we understand that, right?
No, I'm saying that the two are
understanding does not. It's not required for qualia. That is a wild claim.
Wait, hold on, Missy. You don't think the understanding is a? I'm not saying understanding.
No. Are you saying that a plant can't experience sunlight?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that an understanding is a reference to intelligibility.
Understanding is, but the experience is not.
Sure, but experience isn't. Qualia directly isn't.
That's Missy. Yeah, you're making a point.
I'm sorry, I just had to cut in there.
No, you're good. I appreciate it. I'm glad you said that, because I feel like I'm in the experience. One second. Let me just say this very quickly. This conversation has kind of felt like I'm in a twilight zone here. Like, I don't feel like I'm saying anything particularly controversial, and people are like looking at me like I'm insane. Like, I feel like I'm saying I'm pretty basic here.
No, I think our functions are different. Like, I'm critiquing physicalism.
Yeah, but I'm not. Right, but I'm not.
Hold on.
My view is
like critiquing physicalism, and it's just going to be. It's running as in, we have qualia, okay, the state of reason. Well, not the state of reason. Let me correct myself. The state of understanding experience. Okay, and I think that in order to understand experience, you have to have intelligibility.
Yes, but there's difference between understanding experience requiring intelligibility, because I take understanding and intelligibility there to actually be pretty much synonymous, and having the experience. And also, if you're criticizing physicalism, you're shadow boxing over there, because my initial contention about why I take most views of theism to be incoherent is not dependent on physicalism being true. Right? I'm holding that view. In all.
But I think the reference to when we're referring to mind and brain has a lot to do within physicalism. And I think when you're referring to mind and brain, you're referring to definitions that are concepts that follow within physicalism, or the function that follows within physicalism.
No, I would disagree. When I'm talking about the mind,
you would disagree that you're referring. So wait, when you refer to self to be the state of ontological process of the brain, and the function between mind and self being intrinsic to each other, and the process of brain proceeding from the mind without an actual distinction and a coherent known of the energies. Are you okay?
No, I'm really good.
You're affirming physicalism. That's literally you making a proposition of
I'll summarize what I said one more time before I go.
Wait, real quick, before you head out, is that or is that not you affirming the proposition of physicalism?
If I was
that argument, is it or is it not? Yes or no? It's a simple yes
sure,
or
but
no.
that's not the argument I made.
Oh yeah, it is. Wait, sure.
So if I was talking about
Wait,
mind,
sure. Is it? Wait, hold on, don't run.
Is
it or is it not what you were?
Wait. Let him summarize because he does have to go. And then...
Yeah. Let me summarize because this is. So I actually specifically started out my contention with theism, saying that I was not reducing mind or self in a context of physicalism. I specifically said the opposite. I said that my contention remains a problem even if we were to assume physicalism to be false. That if we're taking some dualistic perspective, or especially, by the way, if we're taking an idealist perspective, right? I'm saying that linguistically these concepts lose coherence. So I actually started out by saying, forget physicalism, forget the mind coming from the brain. I can remove that from the conversation, and my concern remained the same.
Yeah, I understand. Like you said, I grant that you affirm that you're like not using physicalism, but
I'm not.
You gave a proposition within your argument that followed from physicalism.
No, I didn't. I answered.
You literally just conceded that I repeated myself to you.
You brought up the brain. I didn't.
Hold on. I repeated myself that you said. I repeated what you said to yourself, okay? And I asked you, is that what you said? You said yes. And I asked you, okay.
You asked me. Wait a second. This is crazy.
Is that a proposition of physicalism?
Hold on.
Wait, Cease has to go, and this is getting meta.
Yeah, this is crazy. So you brought up questions about the brain. You asked, if a person is brain dead, like you brought up the brain. I didn't. You asked me questions in this conversation. For some reason, hold on. For some reason in this conversation, despite the fact that I started off by saying I'm not approaching this from a physical perspective, you decided to ask me questions about physicalism. So I answered those questions, but that had nothing to do with my original contention review. Like that's absurd. So, okay. Missy, always good to see you. Coco, thank you for letting me up.
God bless, Case. It was fun talking to you, man. Much respect. You need to say that.
Take care.
Bye, Cease.
Real quick. I'm just like, yeah, what's up, Genie?
Down.
So wait, real quick. I was called a fraud in the comments by this .diva guy. And I just like, if you want to debate, we can. Just change the topic to Seer Open Challenge.
Seer, is nature art?
Students of Atheism versus Diva Gang?
Or can nature be art?